Hey everybody, Gaijin Guinea Pig here, and I hope you're doing well. 2023, and here we are listening to a new Linkin Park song called Lost. Interestingly, this is from the 2003 Meteora era, and I'll give you a little story time with Jason and how I sort of rocked with Linkin Park for a while. 2001, Hybrid Theory, right? It was just killing everything. All the charts, it was on radio all the time. It was on MTV all the time. Linkin Park were suddenly like this breath of fresh air in like a really stale time of rock music, especially what was considered mainstream rock. I got caught up in that swell. February 6th, 2001, I remember I saw Linkin Park live. They were touring in support of Hybrid Theory at the Gothic Theater in Colorado. Taproot was opening for them. Anybody remember Taproot? Yeah, I used to think that guitar player was super cool. But anyway, they were touring in support of Hybrid Theory, which was impressive because the venue sizes were really large and they only had this one album out. So yeah, they were pretty big even then. The band were super cool because after the show, after their performance, they hung out. Everyone except Chester, unfortunately. Everyone hung out and signed autographs, and I have a ticket stub to this day of that concert and with everyone's autograph. I remember I was so into it, I bought a black windbreaker with the Linkin Park logo on the back, which faded quickly. So I don't know who they used to print that, but I remember that too. So then they put out Meteora in 2003, another good album. It felt like a proper follow-up to Hybrid Theory. It was like more of the same, but like still evolved enough to make you go, yeah, these guys are good. They're either going to be one of the biggest bands in the world, or this is just going to be kind of it, right? Obviously, we know what happened. Became one of the biggest bands in the world. So I was still rocking with them. And then there was that huge gap between like Meteora and Minutes to Midnight. And then I heard Minutes to Midnight. I think I was just in a different headspace in terms of what I was listening to in that time. And it wasn't as heavy as Hybrid Theory or Meteora. And I was like, whoa, if it's not that heavy or heavier, I'm just not into it. Like, if it ain't heavy, I'm not interested. So, it was one of those young mentalities of like, I'm too cool for this. Meanwhile, Shadow of the Day ended up being one of my favorite all-time Linkin Park songs, so go figure. But I didn't really rock with them after that, so I'm not going to sit and pretend like I'm the biggest Linkin Park fan in the world, but we had a moment. And Lost is from that time where it was our moment. It was my moment with Linkin Park. So I'm super excited to check this out, actually. It's an animated video. We love anime over here. And we'll talk a little bit more about Linkin Park and what's going on in that camp afterwards, and obviously the song, but let's just get to the song. Thanks for listening. Storytime with Jason. Here we go. Well, it's weird, right? It's sort of hard to be hyped over a new Linkin Park song because the elephant in the room. It's sort of a somber feeling, especially I'm just thinking about my time rocking with this band and sort of the nostalgia and the memories that are wrapped into that. But I will say, yeah, it fits right into that Meteora pocket. Like, definitely as a slower number. I think everyone gets massive nostalgic feelings with Linkin Park somehow, even if, like me, you grew out of listening to them or if you rocked with them to the very end. I love the aesthetic of the video, that sort of blend of real visuals with the animation overlay and the anime style too. That was great. It's weird. Chester, his voice, every time you hear it, like now it feels so haunting, but he really did have just this amazing vocal style that nobody else was even competing with at the time. And to hear his voice now, yeah, it's bittersweet. So I'll say that. And when I think of a new Linkin Park song, I can't help but think about like what should Linkin Park do next? Um, should they continue on? I mean, there have been a lot of bands that have lost their voice, so to speak, and have continued on with someone new, and it's instantly a divisive move, right? You have people that are like, "Oh, this is not my Linkin Park," or "They'll never be the same," and then you have other people that are just like, "You know what? We know it's not the same, but we love this band, and we want to keep hearing these songs, and we're curious to hear what they can come up with as a new band." And it could still be Linkin Park, but that's a tough topic, and I don't know if there's a right answer, but I think the right answer is Linkin Park should go on if the band members feel like that's what they want to do. I think that the fan base would still support them, even with a new voice. And that's all I have to say about that. But what do you guys think? What did you think about Lost? And what are your feelings about what Linkin Park should do? Should they just ride off into the sunset and say, you know what? We had a hell of a ride. Or should they carry on with a new vocalist? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that too. But you know the routine: like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You're really helping my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate you for it. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.